bread and butter. As they believe that every woman is beautiful and strong, they ask some women who have a certain force inside of them or who stand for a certain thing to be part of a campaign shoot, which images you can also see at the Nike booth in the main hall. And as obviously we all hang out online all the time, but it's always nice to have like a physical interaction and to actually talk to some people. So we invited some women who are actually in the campaign to join me on stage today to talk about their force in more detail. Welcome everyone.
Thank you.
Before we go more into the theme, it would be really great if each and every one of you can introduce yourself and just quickly say who you are and what you do.
Hi. So it's actually quite complex. I didn't actually want to be a fashion director, but I feel like, so I started as a fashion buyer for like 6 years, but yeah, so at one company, so in total I've been doing fashion buying on a very high level for big companies, Saks Fifth Avenue, Christian Dior, Net-a-Porter, for about 10 years. I moved out of New York, so it's very important to get out of your comfort zone because New York is a very competitive market. Without knowing that, I just felt like I needed to get the hell out of there. And I moved to Shanghai. So Shanghai is a place where they need work from the West. They need help from the West. So I went to Shanghai. I ended up staying there for 3 years, but I started working for Net-a-Porter. So that kind of like got some international awareness. I started meeting friends from Berlin, from Paris, from London, all over. So you just kind of organically made these contacts. And within buying, I also had friends at, you know, Vogue China, Elle China, who just needed people with cool style to kind of help contribute to the magazine. That's how, you know, down to earth living in Shanghai was. You know, there wasn't 6 degrees of separation from anyone. Everyone was quite cool and close. It was always 1 degree of separation. You would see the editor-in-chief of Vogue China just kind of like hanging out at a restaurant. Everyone would just be super friendly and speak to everyone because we were expats and we kind of became family. Everyone was far from home. And from there, I just started building a book. Also in New York, I had a lot of editor friends and started building my book alongside doing fashion buying. So when I came to Germany, the same thing kind of happened. I started meeting friends and, you know, that were working for really cool fashion style books that would ask for me to contribute. And I had more time on my hands living in Munich. So I would do a lot more styling than I was doing buying. And then it kind of just like, I had a couple features within Germany, so that kind of got the word out. Like really just like Lala Berlin wanted to do like a little story on me, and that attracted so many people to the point where the editor-in-chief of InStyle Germany just wrote me a message on Facebook saying, hey, do you want to be my fashion director? And I was like, excuse me? And I just felt like they were ready for some newness, for a little bit of like, you know, international flair. And she thought that it made sense that my experience being a buyer, I had a different outlook of the market, more so than a traditional editor. And my experience with styling also kind of brought the two together, and that's basically what fashion direction is. You kind of have to know the market in a way where a buyer will understand it, and if you're styling, then that's awesome. So those two worlds kind of collided as being a fashion director. So there isn't, you know, a blueprint to it. You kind of just have to find your way. And like I said, my way was quite complex, so that's pretty much how that happened. You're welcome.
Anyone else? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips? You mentioned that they were looking for newness and stuff. Mm-hmm. So do you have any tips for when you feel like maybe they don't know they're looking for something? Mm-hmm. And you know how to diversify it? I'm really interested in modest fashion, and that's kind of, you know, underground, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you just gotta like sell your ideas, girl. You gotta put your little PDF, PowerPoint presentation, up, and you go to your boss and you said, hey, I have something to say. I have some ideas. I'm gonna show you. And do it in a very professional way where it's like outstanding and just like kind of like blown off their feet and they're like, wow, I mean, this can work. You just have to put it in their faces. And that's what I did. I mean, also they were kind of ready for it, but I always wanted to keep pushing it cooler and cooler. Let's go more progressive. Let's go more experimental. I mean, with commercial magazines, you have to kind of take your time, but there's so many magazines and you're like probably in the best place in Berlin that are ready for it. So like Berlin doesn't need it, but places like, Munich probably, yeah.
Anyone else? Is there? No? Okay, thank you. So just quickly to sum this whole thing up, it would be really great if every one of you could just give us like one last statement, how to endorse people to find their force and just live with it. Just quickly.
Okay. So I think we're living in a world where, there's a sense of normalcy in what you should look like and what you should be or who you should be. No. Everyone's different. Everyone has like their thing that they're bringing to their table, their talents, and you can look differently, and it's okay. I've had so many girls reach out to me, pull me to the side in a party and say, I didn't think I can do it, but you've done it. And I'm just like, absolutely, and you can too. And it's not a color thing, it's not a race thing. It can also just be like, maybe you're like living in Bamberg in Bavaria and you're just like, oh my God, how do I get to New York? You can get there. You just you just have to keep trying. And I know it sounds really cliche and corny, but it's so true. Don't give up. And if you feel like where you are isn't catering to your talents and your needs as a professional or for your career, get out of where you are and go to where you can, where what you have to say is accepted and wanted. That's it.
Yes.
For me, I think it is a lot about maybe people with a community and an audience around them really trying to promote and live like a different kind of way of life, promote a different lifestyle than what we see on social media, for example. I think we're so flooded by the images of perfection and all these life models that are presented to us every day. And I think that's especially hard for young women growing up if you think the thing that you should achieve in life is being able to buy a new handbag every day. So I think it's super important for people that, have the possibility to speak to an audience, to say there are like far more important things that you can achieve for yourself, and like give different ideas of what could make a fulfilling life.
Thank you.
Well, it feels like I'm repeating myself, but basically just for me it was like, what was I frustrated about? What was missing? What's lacking in the community? Like just fill that gap if you can, if you have the possibility to, or when you do, just like try to provide that thing you needed for other people, when you can.
I think it's about letting the force pull you and push you in all the ways possible, because you deep down know what it is that you are supposed to do, and it's not about what other people tell you, what it's right or wrong or how you should be. So as long as you let the force just take you wherever you need to go, then you will always get what you want or what was basically right for you. Or at least this is what happened with me, and that's all I can speak from. So,
thank you, everyone. That was really nice. Thanks for being on stage here with me. And thanks for everyone for joining us here. If you want to know more about the Forces Female campaign, you can find us at the Nike booth in the main hall. You can also get your shoes customized there, so you can get them tattooed and you can get like some jewelry on them. It's super nice. So thank you very much and have a lovely day.
Thank you.